Well, in this video, the awful truth about college, just basically it's about I want about being very careful about other people, because a lot of people are just basically fairly nasty, which you might have figured out already. Of course, another one, you need to deprogram yourself of the indoctrination you got in college. You know, you really need to, especially if you're a male and you're in college, you got to be very careful with the females, because now, thanks to Obama and all this stuff. If you're a male, you have sex with a woman and she is drunk, you're the one that's going to get accused of rape. Doesn't matter what the situation. If you're in your room and you're passed out and a woman comes into your dorm room and performs oral on you, you are the one that can still get arrested or get kicked out of college. You can go to collegefix.com and you'll see all this stuff. And sometimes you'll see it on Fox News. You won't see it on CNN. That's why I always say, make sure you check every website, not just liberal, not just conservative. Check all these websites. Don't just check things that confirm your ideology. That's just not a good thing. You'd be shocked. What women will be willing to do to screw some guy's life over. They would try to make sure you don't get to see your children. They would take all your money. They don't care about costing you your job or any of that stuff. When you're at work, be very careful of the women you work with. They may call you honey and dear and sweetie and sweetheart and ask you if you have a girlfriend and tell you, oh, yeah, that's a nice shirt, or you look cute or handsome. Don't you dare respond to them the same way, because you will be called in HR real fast for sexual harassment. Women are very hypocritical about stuff like that. It's like, you apply for a job at a child care center, daycare center. If you're a man, they're going to treat you like you're some sort of pedophile. Even though, how often do you see on the news of some child being killed at a daycare by the women working there, or they're being neglected, left in the car, abused, or lost? Go to a women's clothing store, apply for a job, and see how some of those women treat you. And then you'll notice, if you go to a men's clothing store, nobody cares if there's a woman working there. No man is going to complain, because let's face it, women are more sexist than men. If you don't believe me, you can check the internet, check YouTube. You'll see these videos. And yeah, you can go ahead and leave me nasty comments and thumbs down for the things I'm going to say. But that doesn't change what I'm saying. And it tells me a whole lot more about you than me. Because usually people act, and this is another point, but I might try to get on it later. People are more themselves when they think they're alone than when they're around others. When they think they're by themselves, that's when they act more their true nature shows out. That's why, you go to comment section on any news site, your local news, San Francisco Times and all this stuff. You go, CNN, Fox News, whatever, or on YouTube, you see the comments, because that's how they truly are. When people are driving, and psychologically to them, they're alone. That's why they drive the way they do. So that's why you got some of these a-holes, and you got those that just obey every freaking rule. Now, of course, I said some stuff about, I don't want to go too much about, women are horrible and all that, because they're not. Now, before people think that I'm trying to say women are nasty and everything, I'm going to switch gears to men. First off, both men and women have this one thing in common, you'll notice, is they automatically assume that someone's interested in them, no matter if that person is even looked at them or smiled at them or anything. Or just because someone smiles at you doesn't mean they're interested. Both groups do that. Now, another thing that men do, if they ask a woman out, she says no, all of a sudden she's a bitch or a whore or a tramp and all this crap. They act like the women are supposed to go out with them. If a woman says no, so what? If you see my other videos, you see how freaking ugly and hideous I look. I don't get upset when a woman turns me down. I don't even care. That's their right. You know why? Because I personally would not date an overweight woman. I would not do that. I would not date a 250-pound woman. I have a right to turn them down and not want to go out with them. Just like a woman has a right not to want to go out with me. I afforded them the same rights, because men and women deserve the same opportunities in life. Blacks and whites deserve the same opportunities in life. But you really do need to be very careful, more with women than men, though. And also women, when you turn down a guy, don't just say, oh, I have a boyfriend. Okay, if you don't. Because if you say, oh, I have a boyfriend, guess what? He's going to wait. He's going to keep bugging you about, well, y'all still together? And crap like that. He's going to be watching you. Just simply straight out and say, I am just not interested in you. You're not my type. Don't worry about hurting the guy's feelings. And guys, you got to do the same thing if a woman ever does ask you out. You just let them know straight up, hey, I'm just simply not into you. I'm not interested in you. Because if you say, you're not my, if you say, I have a boyfriend or, anything like that besides just shooting them straight down, they're going to keep bothering you. Just simply tell them that. And if they do bother you, to say, you're bothering me, I'm not interested in you, and that's not going to change, stop bothering me. And yeah, you should report them to somebody if they keep doing it. Don't be afraid to do that if they're harassing you because they keep asking you out. And you can tell them, if you keep bothering me like this, I'm going to report you to the supervisor or, whatever. And if it is the supervisor, there's always somebody you can report them to. Now, about the indoctrination. Now, let's face this fact, okay? If you're in college, you went through college, you're going to learn liberalism, not conservative thoughts. And your professor probably going to hate Republicans and hate conservatives. They may not straight out say it, but that's how they feel. And they're going to misinterpret other ideology. This is why I always tell people, always look things up yourself. Do not just believe what some PhD tells you, okay? Because not everybody is correct about everything. No ideology is 100% correct. Read books and watch videos of people of other ideologies, okay? And a lot of these things that you think the Republicans and conservatism is about isn't really what they're about. What happened with conservatives and Republicans is that the religious freaks have gotten involved. And they're polluting it. It's the same if you're a conservative and you listen to the liberals and Democrats. You got to remember the social justice warriors are polluting them. And I'm talking about the extremists. On both sides, there's always going to be extremists. Don't believe what they tell you about guns, how bad guns are. Because how come no one ever had a problem with guns until the 80s? I mean, think about that for a moment. And immigration, there's no logical reason to be pro-illegal immigration. No other country will allow illegal immigrants. Of course, I'm not saying you support Trump and building a wall and Mexico going to pay for it, because that's a bunch of crap. And that's another thing about the presidency. Read the U.S. Constitution so you know what the president's powers actually are. Because a lot of things you think the president can do, and then a lot of things that they promise you, they have no power or authority to actually do it. So please read the Constitution of the United States if you're in America. Wherever country you're from, you need to learn the rules and regulations of your country. And if you travel to another country, you need to look up the customs and rules of that country. Anyways, you should. It's a good idea. So, you don't do anything that isn't appropriate. Because what may be acceptable in your country is not acceptable in another country. One country may be able to spit on the sidewalks and everything, but you come to another country like America, that's not exactly acceptable now, is it? But seriously, also you got to be willing to allow people to express their views. So freedom of speech means people express their views. Even if they disagree with you got to let them speak. Then you give your points. That's freedom of speech. Not yelling, screaming, making noise, and acting stupid. You just make yourself look like a moron. And also when people do that and honk the horns and pull fire alarms and just get violent and nasty, it shows that really their views are bankrupt. They have no real views. That they just don't want to hear someone else speak. Also, in order to protect freedom of speech, that means you have to let the most vile people speak. That means racist and sexist people, you got to allow them to speak. Because how else will you be able to expose their ideology if you don't allow them to speak? Because a lot of times they will bury themselves by speaking. And, also you need to get some facts and figures. Anyways, they'll tell you, for example, if you hear, white people are more likely to be attacked by blacks than blacks are more likely to be attacked by whites. A white woman is more likely to be raped by a black man than a black woman is to be raped by a white man. Well, do you have any facts and figures to counteract those arguments? And also, if those arguments are true, well, why is this happening? Why do African Americans appear to be committing more violent crimes and committing more crimes? Why is it like this? Why is it people that are poor are more likely to commit crimes? Is it because of education? Maybe it's there's so many reasons why this happens. If you're not willing to allow people to speak, you will never be able to explore the root causes of these problems. And yeah, racism does play a role. But you're not going to combat racism by shutting people up just because you disagree with them. And not everything people say is racism. If that's your go-to to call someone racist and sexist, I kind of feel sorry for you. You got to let people speak. You know, and seriously, and another thing, of course, be careful what you put online, obviously. You know, and when you vote, I just want to let you know, when you vote, Google your name. You'll be surprised how much your personal information is online once you voted. But as I say, make sure you read other people's opinions, allow other people to talk. And there are more videos on YouTube of African Americans expressing their hatred towards whites than there are videos of whites expressing their hatred towards blacks. That is true. Same with women expressing their hatred towards men and wanting to kill men and all this stuff, versus men doing the same with women. And and another thing, do not just automatically trust the media. The media will do anything to instill fear. That's fear into you. That's what they're doing with guns. That's what they're doing with police brutality and everything else. They know how to do the fear thing. Why? It's because they're helping the politicians and they're controlled by the wealthy people. They just want to make money. It isn't a global conspiracy where they're trying to keep you down and under control. It isn't that. It's just that as long as they can keep you fighting each other, they make more money. They're not really doing it so much as trying to take over and make you their slave. No. They just want you to be fighting, blacks and whites, men and women, arguing and fighting each other so they can make more money. I mean, obviously, if you try to get rich yourself, they're not going to stop you. They could care less. Because they know a majority of people are going to give into this racism and sexism crap. You know, the KKK, the new Black Panthers and all those organizations. You know, they are helping the wealthy more than they could ever know. Some of these Nazi feminists and these extremists on the men's rights and the women's rights, those type of people, they are helping the rich more than they could ever know. And none of these politicians, Hillary or Trump, was going to fix anything. And Obama has done, I don't care what people say, Obama has done more to set back race relations than anybody else. Bush has done more to increase terrorism than anyone else. I know people may not like that part, what I just said, but if you can just prove what I just said, please do. Because let's face it, if Bush didn't attack Iraq, and if he had a plan when he went to Afghanistan, and do you really think we would have a problem with ISIS? And then with Obama, I mean, look up the police brutality stuff. Remember that beer summit he had with that cop and the African American professor from Harvard? Why don't you look that up? When the police officer was leading that guy out of his home, remember that African American was saying that he was targeted because he was black, right? There are videos on it. There's one by what's his name, Michael Savage. I really don't. I mean, he can be a bit foul-mouthed on the radio, but here's the video of this. I mean, not video, but it's the audio. The officer plainly asked him, well, do you want to lock your door before we leave? And guess what the guy's response was? The same guy who's saying that the police are profiling him. He says, I can't lock the door because someone broke into my house a week ago. Think about that. Think about that. So the police were right in that situation. But the media isn't going to report it that way. And Obama certainly isn't. All right, well, I think this video is long enough. I probably made this video a little too long, longer than I really want to. Feel free to like, subscribe. Feel free to watch any of my other videos or anything. And I know a lot of stuff I say you may disagree with or not like what I said, or you think I'm an idiot. And I am an idiot. I mean, I will be the first to admit that I'm a loser. I am an idiot. I'm a moron. I'm a mind-boggling freaking moron. And my videos aren't all that great. But seriously, just read books. Read lots of books. Read The Rights of Man by Thomas Paine. Read his books. Please read the Federalist Papers. Read, and read. Read the books Obama have written, and Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Don't just vote for someone just because they fit your ideology. Make sure you actually know what they truly believe. Well, thanks.